Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another Codex Supplement review. We have another supplement because they're doing two at a time, much like Noah's Ark.
2 by 2.
Yeah, so Brom and I have just finished filming the Imperial Fists Codex Supplement review. If you haven't seen that one, you can check that one out after this one, because obviously these two are going live at basically the same time. Both of them are now available on the Games Workshop website and from your independent local gaming stores or websites, i.e. Element Games. There's a link below to Element Games, who are our sponsors, and you can pre-order your codex through Element's website instead of using Games Workshops, and you get a couple of quid off as well. Massive thank you to Games Workshop for providing us with this early content to be able to review. Like I said, we've already done the Imperial Fist one, so go and check that one out. No spoilers, it's crap. But yeah, we were previously doing these as live streams, and we've stopped doing them as live streams because there's a couple of reasons. It's not really working for us, and it kills me at the end of a day shift at work, 12 hours of absolute lunacy, then come home and do this for 2 hours and off. So what we're doing now is we're pre-recording them so they can go up live the day that they are available for pre-order, which is really cool.
Yep.
And that means we're not 48 hours behind everybody else, which is amazing. So apologies if you have been watching us or engaging with us on Twitch. We will be bringing it back in the future. I just don't know when yet, because at the moment it's more important for me to be able to kick out more and varied regular content for you guys rather than worrying about it being live. So we're going to bring it back because I enjoy it and you enjoy it as well, right?
Yeah.
We like the Twitch stuff.
Twitch will be the future.
But the shift pattern at work is killing me. So if you really, really, really want Twitch back, then get me out the factory.
Say goodbye to the man.
Yeah, say goodbye to the man and work for Winters.
A different
anyway,
man.
Yeah. So
man.
we're equal. Maybe not. Probably not. Okay. Either way, we've done some reviews previously, so we have done the Iron Hands and Raven Guard one in a live stream that was also put up as a live podcast. We've also done that for the White Scars and Ultramarines book, and I did both of those with you, actually. I think I've done all the Marine ones with you, right?
Yep.
This is good.
Yep.
You're our resident Marine expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert.
I was being nice.
I know.
So you can check out those two if you want. Like I say, we've also done the Imperial Fist one, which is up as we speak. What we're going to do essentially is we're going to skim. I said we're going to skim. We basically read every stratagem, war or trait relic.
Plan to skim.
And we kind of talk about whether we think they're any good, whether there's good value there, and that's about that, really. We don't try and come up with the most broken combinations that you possibly can. We kind of go, yeah, that's narrative. We like that. It makes sense. This is a good job. This is comparatively decent compared to things like Iron Hands or whatever. Or this is absolute trash. One thing we always promise people will do on this channel is make sure we give you a 100% honest opinion as to what we think of the supplement, codex, book, product, whatever it is we're given to review.
And if you've watched the Imperial Fist one, you know we don't lie.
You will also notice, if you are watching these, that I haven't yet stuck out one for Phoenix Rising Psychic Awakening yet. That book's got a lot of stuff in that. I got given it, or got sent it to me a couple of days before I then went working for 5 days. One of those days being the Saturday that it was released, and I still haven't finished actually going through everything yet as what I think is good and bad. I will do a review of that book. It just isn't going to be a preview review of that book at some point. It's interesting. It is coming. It's just I haven't got round to it yet. I'm very sorry. Get me out of the factory. Okay, so Salamanders. As you guys know already, pretty much every single one of the first founding chapters for the Loyalists has got themselves their own supplement, and this is Codex Salamanders Supplement Salamanders. The Imperial Fist one had the Crimson Fists in it as well. Salamanders don't have any specific successor chapters, but you can make your own successor chapter and use Salamanders rules as you can with every other codex.
Yep.
The Salamanders ones comes with 2 characters, both of which are more expensive than the Iron Father. He's gonna get a points hike. He's gonna get a points hike. We've got Vulcan Histan, as we expected, because he's there, and he's decent. Vulcan's not too bad. We like Vulcan. I really like Vulcan. However, we've also got Adrax Agatone.
You nailed it.
Yeah? You think?
Kind of.
This is interesting. Adrax Agatone, with his 5 attacks as a primary salamander, who has a melee weapon called the Miraculous Nocturne, which is strength ×2, AP -3, flat 4 damage. Flat 4 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So he's got a better melee weapon than Pedro Cantor. If you've watched the Imperial Fists, you'll know the theme. Unto the Anvil, add 1 to wound rolls for any attacks made with melee weapons by models and friendly Salamanders units whilst their unit was in 6 inches of this model, and if that unit made a charge move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention. So basically, if you charge with him and a unit, you get permanent Vets of the Long War. That's amazingly good. I love that.
Yeah.
Normal Iron Halo stuff. You've got the Eridan Draconic Cloak. When resolving an attack against the model, reduce the damage characteristic of a weapon used by 1 to a minimum 1. Really cool.
Yeah.
And Rights of Battle for reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with Salamanders within 6 inches. He's a really solid character for 140 points.
Yeah.
Really solid. I mean,
I'm a fan.
He's not as incredibly force multiplying as the Iron Father for 110 points, but he's a really good character. I'm not joking at this point. He's well pointed.
Yeah.
And the other one we touched on, Tor Eridan or whatever his name is. Gary.
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 That's his name.
That's his name. Tor Gary.
Tall Gary for the for the Imperial Fists.
Yeah.
I think he was like 130, 140 points as well.
Yeah, it was 140.
They're quite reasonable. I quite like those.
Yeah.
And he's a good HQ choice for the Salamanders. So yeah, he's not a bad character. Yeah. And the model I really love as well.
Yeah, I like it.
I really love that model. And it tempts me to do Salamanders because originally I was like, I'm doing Iron Warriors because they're just so good. And then I've seen how insanely good they are. Iron Hands, sorry, yeah. Iron Warriors are not so good.
Sorry, Chris.
So I was going to do Iron Hands, and then after last week's events results came in, I was like, I can't in good conscience do Iron Hands.
No.
I can't in good conscience do Iron Hands ever in my life, ever at the moment.
No. At least wait for the points.
It's like, at this stage, right, people still get slammed for taking Tau because of 7th edition Riptide Wing. And that's like...
yeah, they do.
The Iron Hands legacy is going to last longer than that, I think, at this stage. Right, yep. So the Crucible of War gives you the additional rules for Salamanders on top of what they also get in Codex Space Marines. This is true for every single successor chapter. Yep. We go through this every time, but in case you haven't seen the other videos yet and you're only watching this one because you're a Salamanders player, we will give you the heads up that you can choose to have your own successor chapter of Salamanders, whatever you want to call them. Yep. Whatever you want them to be, you can have your own Salamanders successor chapter. If you do that, you get access to everything near enough within this supplement, with the exception of the specific Salamanders relics. You still get the Salamanders special issue war gear, but not the relics. However, you can still get access to the relics by spending a command point for a specific stratagem. So you still basically get access to everything. What you do at that point is you replace the keyword Salamanders with keyword whatever your successor chapter is called.
Flamey guys.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Fire Marines. Fireman Sam.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call them, yeah. So the chapter of Pontypandy, whatever. You can do whatever you want in terms of naming. You replace the Salamanders keyword with the chapter keyword that you've come up with, and you get access to all this stuff. So in instances where we mention Salamanders, you can replace that with your successor chapter should you wish. As with every other supplement so far as well, they also get an additional benefit on top of Combat Doctrine. So Combat Doctrines is a new thing in version 2 of the Space Marines Codex that gives you the tactical, Devastator Tactical and Assault Doctrines, which give you basically additional bonuses to your AP depending on what weapon you're using and depending on what doctrine you have active at any one time. And the Salamanders are no different. They gain Promethean Cult. Now, Promethean Cult, when the tactical doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made with a flame or melter weapon by a model with this ability, add 1 to the wound roll. Yep. I love it. Really like that.
Yeah.
I cannot stress how much I really like that. What's really cool is its tactical doctrine, so you don't have to wait till Assault Doctrine like the White Scars do. Poor old White Scars. Yeah, poor guys. So it's tactical doctrine. And it's not Dev Doctrine, so you can't make benefit from it from turn 1 onwards, and you have to make that choice as to whether you come out of your Devastate Doctrine, you move into Tactical to gain Promethean Cult, or whether you want to stay in Dev for another turn because you've got last cannons and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So I really love that straight away. Then to add to that, the fact that it's basically Vets of the Long War on all Flamer and Melter weapons is insanely good.
Oh, amazing.
Which means that all your anti-infantry Flamer stuff is +1 to wound, and all your anti-tank Melter stuff is +1 to wound.
Seriously, with some of the other bits and pieces in here, you'll be taking a lot of flame, a lot of melting.
I will tell you now, especially if you've watched my Imperial Fist review. This is like the polar opposite of the Imperial Fist review. This, I think, is a good book.
I was looking after we've just finished the Imperial Fist one, and I was like, I'll have a skim through this because I haven't read it yet. And I'm like, ooh. That's not bad. Ooh, that's not bad. Ooh, where's the bad? Okay, I could take that. Yeah, that's got.
No, there's nothing. Okay, I will say as well. This isn't. I go on about this a lot at the moment because it's currently a hot topic. This isn't Iron Hands good. Okay, I still think that sitting at the top of the tree for supplements is the best book. Mm-hmm. but this is not bad. If you're a Salamanders player already, you are going to be happy with this book. I shouldn't say. I almost guarantee it because I just think it's good. It's not turbo broken. People aren't going to massively cry about the fact that you're using Iron Hands. Yeah. Sorry, they will cry about that. The fact that you're using Salamanders, but it's also not massively disappointing. There's lots of options in here. So we've already talked about off camera. We already talked about the Salamanders chapter tactic, where you get lots of rerolls, hit and wound roll for free, and you also ignore AP -1.
Correct.
That's also really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. AP1 is prevalent in 8th edition, and you ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean, AP -2 doesn't become AP -1. You just ignore AP -1, which I don't think it can be stressed as to how good that is. Actually, I really like that.
So much better than having to stand in cover and pay command points or have a warlord near you to ignore AP -1.
Yeah.
Which is Imperial Fish.
So then it goes on to talk about successor chapters, which we've already touched on, and it tells you basically how you get warlord traits, chapter relics, stratagems, psychic powers. Same old.
Now onto the fun.
Stuff. Yeah, there's no extra like Crimson Fist stuff with this one because it's just the Salamanders book. So warlord traits, Brom.
Now I'm excited.
You like these, didn't you?
I did. I like these.
So first one is the one that you get if you take Vulcan Hastan, the chapter master of the Salamanders, and it's called Anvil of Strength. Add 2 to the strength characteristics of the warlord. Never bad. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I
you
like
can use
that.
it. Vulcan Hastan for reference as well. So this adds to your base characteristics, base strength characteristics. Vulcan Hastan's base strength 4, so he becomes base strength 6, and his melee weapon, the Spear of Vulcan, is melee +2, AP -2 and D3. So he's become strength 8, AP -2, D3 damage of his spear, which is basically then like a power fist, but not quite as a -APE. But there's no negative to hit, and he hits on 2s, so that's good. Anyway. Number 2, Miraculous Constitution. When this warlord would lose a wound, roll a d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. In addition, at the start of your movement phase, this warlord regains 1 lost wound.
And that's the bit I like. The little addition. So it's Feel No Pain with...
with gaining a wound back.
Which
now, most of the older books...
It's not game breaking.
Most of the older books have a rule like this, and you gain +1 to your warlord's wounds characteristics in a 6-up Feel No Pain. Yeah. This one I prefer. Yeah. So you don't gain +1 to your wound, but you gain 1 back every turn. If you gain 2 back, that's instantly better than the other warlord traits that give you +1 to your wound characteristics, so I quite like it. Yep. Number 3, never give up. Never give up, Brom.
Never.
At the start,
there's always a chance.
At the start of the battle round, you can select 1 friendly Salamanders unit within 6 inches of this warlord. Until the end of that battle round, that unit has a Defenders of a Humanity ability. See Codex. So this, it's not bad.
No.
But Crimson Fist do this better.
Yeah, they do.
They have a warlord trait where everything within 6 inches of your warlord gains Defenders of Humanity. So they do it better. But it's still, we discussed on the Crimson Fists one that was a good trait. Yep. So this isn't terrible.
No.
It's usable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You walk forward with your Flame Aggressors, and now they've got Defenders of Humanity.
Yeah, number 4 is Forge Master. I love this one. Add 2 to the toughness characteristics of your warlord. I love the simplicity of some of these.
It's
just
not
add
complex.
2 to toughness.
Yeah.
So your toughness for Primaris Captain is now toughness 6, or your toughness 5 Gravis Captain.
Yeah.
It's toughness 7. As tough as a rhino.
Yep.
That's cool. We like that. And narrative. Lord of Fire is toughness 7 and ignores -1 AP as well. Ooh. Lord of Fire, you can re-roll the dice to determine the number of attacks made with flame weapons by friendly Salamanders models whilst their unit is within 6 inches of this warlord. This is the trait that Adrax Agatone has as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
It's very Salamanders.
Very, very cool if you're taking flame everywhere. If you're only taking 1 unit of flame, you won't take this. You'll just use the strat. But how many times do you roll?
They don't know about the strat yet.
We're going to get there. How many times do you roll for your flame weapons and it's a 1 or a 2? And you're like, damn it.
Yeah, but...
Damn it, man.
Do you know what I like about this? Yeah. Is that you go trundling forward in your big tank, and then you get out of your big tank, all your flamer dudes, and you've got a flamestorm tank.
Yes.
Of flames. Oh, no. So originally I had this vision in my head that you had a Land Raider Redeemer full of Flamestorm aggressors, but aggressors can't get in Land Raiders, can they?
No.
Oh, silly.
But the point is, you could float your Repulsor next to your Flamestorm Land Raider. It's going to cost you...
It's getting points expensive now, right?
600 and 700 points. And then get out with your 100-point captain.
And don't forget, you're re-rolling the random number of dice for your flame weapons, and if you've got Tactical Doctrine active, that's the flame weapons are also +1 to wound. I like it. It's really cool. Patient and Determined is the last one. Once per shooting phase and or once per fight phase, when resolving an attack made by this warlord, do not make a hit roll. It automatically scores a hit. Again, it's not game breaking, but it's a good trait.
How many times do you need that?
One Thunder Hammer. Yeah, absolutely. Or
have to have it.
And you can do it in the shooting phase and or fight phase as well.
And when we get to relics, you'll see a good relic that you might want to hit with.
Well, you might have actually read this more than me now. So you get an automatic hit once per phase.
I had a skim read.
6 warlord traits where I can see every single one of them having some use.
Yeah, none of them break-in, none of them instant. I'm going to choose. What I would like is if we rolled for this, I'd be happy. If you rolled on that chart, I would.
So we spoke about this during the Imperial Fist one. We said no one ever rolls. Why do they keep saying roll a d6? No one ever rolls. I don't know anyone that rolls. Is probably a more accurate way of saying it. Yeah. And we did say to each other, challenge, next game we play, we'll roll. And we'll see what we come up with. You're right, actually. If you rolled on this table, there's almost not a... I mean, if you took a Salamander's army that had 0 flame weapons in it, I mean, 1, you're not a Salamanders player. Yeah. But 2, that means that Lord of Fire, for example, would be useless. Apart from that one, I don't think there's anything in here that's terrible. They're all useful. And that's a really nice place to be, because I'm looking at this as a person who might fight Salamanders and thinking, I'm not always going to face a Salamanders player who's using the same warlord trait.
It's going to be nice.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
So I like that. They're all not all amazing, but they all have a place.
Different types of combo.
Then we have the Relics of Nocturne. So the Salamanders specific relics. We've got Vulcan Sigil. Add 1 to the attack's characteristics of a model with this relic. In addition, once per battle at the start of the fight phase, a model with this relic can hold aloft Vulcan Sigil. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of models in friendly Salamanders units while the unit is within 6 inches of that model. Note that the attack's characteristics of the model with this relic is therefore increased by 2 until the end of the phase.
Yeah, I like that. It's not a mantle where you have to stand still and then you get something. It's not a banner. It's just something that you have.
I'm a fan of it. And when you consider that things like Flamestorm aggressors will be a thing that have got those Flamestorm fists as well, adding loads of attacks, that's really cool. I like that.
A power fist, an additional attack with a power fist. Yeah, useful.
Drake Smiter. It just sounds cool as well. Model equipped with a Thunder Hammer only. The relic replaces the Thunder Hammer and has the following profile. I like this. Strength ×2. AP -4. 3 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll and an unmodified wound roll of a 6. Add 3 to the damage characteristics of this weapon for that attack.
So, you've got an attack and your warlord carrying the Thunder Hammer. He auto hits.
Once. Yeah.
But that's all you want.
You want a water hit.
At least.
Especially if you roll a 6 to wound.
Yeah.
What? The only thing that makes me sad, right,
is -1 to hit.
It's an unmodified roll of a 6.
Yeah, it's
but
means you can't. Yeah.
And the -1 to hit on a captain or something is not too bad when they're hitting on 2s normally. With a flat 3 damage Thunder Hammer that could be damage 6.
Well, and you're wounding pretty much everything on 2s because you get +1 to wound.
No, you don't.
Do you not?
It's not a flame or melter weapon.
Oh, I'm getting excited about stuff.
Yeah, you were getting excited there, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm sure there's other things in there. It's fine.
There probably is, yeah. You get +1 to wound from add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons from models in the friendly Salamanders unit. Yeah, so if you're with Adrax, you'll get +1 to wound. There you go.
See,
I saved you there.
Totally doable.
I'm here for you.
Yeah,
I'm looking after you. Wrath of Prometheus. Salamanders model with a bolt gun or mastercrafted bolt gun.
Yeah.
Only the relic replaces the bolt gun or mastercrafted bolt gun and has the following profile: 30-inch range, rapid fire 1. So the Crimson Fist one was 30-inch range, rapid fire 2. Strength 5, same. AP -2, same. Damage 3.
Yeah.
Instead of 2.
Yeah.
That's a nice bolt gun.
And being strength 5 is major.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
The Tome of Volcona. Librarian model only. A model with this relic knows 1 psychic power from the Promethean discipline. in addition to any other powers it knows. Okay, so you get an extra power. When a psychic test is taken from a model with this relic that is attempting to manifest a psychic power from the Promethean discipline, you can add 1 to the total. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a decent tome for librarians. You gain additional power.
There's
and
a few
you
of
get to
them
rerolls.
out there, and that's quite a nice one.
And librarians can take 2 powers. So your librarian can now take 3 powers and gets +1 to the total of his. So you've got more variety with your librarian there. Yeah. Then you've got the Salamanders Mantle. When resolving an attack made against a model with this relic, subtract 1 from the wound roll. That's cool. I like that. Mm-hmm. So anything that's wounding you on 2s is now 3s, wounding you on 4s is now 5s, etc.
Yep.
Absolutely. Nocturne's Vengeance model with a Combi Flamer. The relic replaces a Combi Flamer, has the following profile. When you choose this weapon to shoot with, select one of the 2 profiles. If you select both, subtract 1. Okay. Mastercrafted Bolt Gun, 24-inch rapid fire, 1 strength, 4 AP -1, 2 damage. Mastercrafted Flamer, 12-inch range assault, D6, strength, 4 AP -1, 2 damage.
12 inch is quite nice, but and 2 damage is good.
When you resolve an attack made for the Mastercrafted Flamer, do not roll to hit, automatically hits, of course. Yeah. But 2 damage Flamer. It's cool.
At
I like
12
that.
inches.
Yeah. And then you've got the Helm of Draclos.
You nailed it now.
Primaris model only.
Couldn't say anything with the Imperial Fistbook.
Primaris model only. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of a model with this relic. Subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of models and enemy units while their unit is within 6 inches. Now imagine sticking that with the Warlord trait, which is called Miraculous Constitution. So now you get the +1 wound, plus you get to regain a wound at the start of every turn, plus you get 6 up on a pain.
Yeah.
Decent. Again, there's not a terrible... I mean, I don't think you'll see the Combi Flamer one very often, for example. But again, the rest of them, they're all quite decent.
There's
nothing terrible there.
No.
Some decent relics.
Yep.
And the most important thing for me as well is that there, again, isn't a massive standout auto-include. Definitely going to take this one no matter what goes on every single time relic.
But you almost thought that, well, at least I almost thought that the Thunderhammer would be kind of a go-to, but because of it being an unmodified roll of a 6, actually it's not, and it is still -1 to hit everywhere. So it's not an auto.
For me, the go-to relic, if I was looking at these, would probably be the Tome. The one that makes the librarian have better variety, but because the psychic powers I think are quite cool too.
I haven't seen those yet. So that could be really good, or rubbish.
Okay, so special issue war gear. The first 4 are the same as always: 5 up Furnace Pain, a 2+, 5+ artificer armor, mastercrafted into dual weapons. Yeah. Then we go on to the specific Salamanders ones, because the Relics of Nocturne, if you're a successor chapter, you don't get access to unless you spend a command point. But special issue war gear you do. So the Obsidian Aquila, chapter model within 6 inches of a model with this relic would. When he would lose a wound, roll a d6 or 6+ wounds not lost. So basically, you give every chapter unit within 6 inches of that model 6+ for no pain. That's cool. It's like a 6 up for no pain aura. I like that. The Promethean Plate. When resolving an attack made against a model with this relic, an unmodified wound roll of a 1, 2, or 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities. The weapon. Again, we spoke about this. I like these abilities. Yeah. I do like the abilities that go transhuman physiology. Yeah, that go 1, 2, or 3. They fail. I like that one. Now, again, imagine sticking that on that Warlord who's got the trait that gives him a 6 up for the pain and he regains a wound every turn. He becomes quite a beast. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, maybe that's a waste. If you put that on... if you put that on a Warlord who's a Gravis Captain, right, with Forge Master, so he becomes toughness 7. Yeah. So 1, 2, and 3s always fail. Yeah. So strength 8... 9, pointless. It can't hurt him. No. I now really like that one, probably over all the normal relics. That's my new choice. Okay, Dragon Rage bolts. Select one bolt weapon that the model is equipped with. When the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose for it to fire Dragon Firebolt. If you do, you can only make 1 attack. But if the attack hits, make D6 wound rolls instead of 1. Each successful wound roll results in a wound that must be allocated. When resolving that attack, the target does not receive the benefit of cover or to its saving throw, and the weapon has a damage characteristic of 1 and an armor penetration characteristic of 1. So you take a bolt weapon, any bolt weapon, like a pistol, and you, if you hit, you do D6 wounds instead of 1. That's cool. And then we have the Drake Blade, model with a power sword, mastercrafted power sword, or combat knife. Only the relic replaces the model's power sword, mastercrafted power sword, or combat knife. And is basically strength user, AP -4 and 2 damage. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, on an unmodified wound roll of 6, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage.
It's Soldier's Blade, isn't it?
It's cool. Again, I like it. Imagine if your Warlord is a librarian, for example. Oh no, he's got a force sword, not a power sword. Okay, but imagine if your warlord now has the Anvil of Strength for +2 to his strength characteristics. You've now got a Strength 6, AP -4, flat 2 damage power sword. That's really cool. Yeah. Chewing through stuff, absolutely chewing through stuff. Again, I mean the Dragon Rage bolts aren't terrible, but the Promethean Dragon Rage bolts are actually really interesting because it says you can put it on a bolt weapon.
Yep.
It's a shame because it's for characters. It's a shame you can't give your sergeant like a heavy bolter. Imagine that.
Is it special issue? You can. Because there'll be a
but you can't give your sergeant a heavy bolter.
No, true.
That's what I'm saying.
Three bullet. Yeah.
It'd be really cool to stick it on a heavy bolter dude.
Yeah, true.
Just because it's 36-inch range. That's quite nice. But having said that...
You can give him rapid fire.
Yeah, there's other options, isn't there? So we go on to the stratagems.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the sections for the Imperial Fist that I whinged about quite a lot. It's one of the sections for things like Ultramarines and Iron Hands. It's really quite strong. So stratagems for Salamanders. They have, yet again, 16 stratagems, 2 pages of 8. And there's a number of 2 command point ones and a number of 1. I think it's 5 2 command point ones and the rest are all 1 command point, if I remember rightly. So, from the top, don't forget, you get these whether you're a successor chapter or not. And you replace Salamander's keyword with whatever your chapter's called. So the first one's called Flamecraft. We start off high. We start with 2 command points. But you won't mind.
No, I
use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. And it is shooting phase, not Overwatch.
Yep.
Until the end of that phase, when a model in the unit shoots with a flame weapon, do not roll to determine the number of attacks made with that weapon. Instead, the maximum number of attacks are made with that weapon.
6 flame
6
storm
flame shots every time from the flamer.
So 6 flame storm aggressor, 2d6 shots.
Yeah. Importantly, don't forget it says a Salamander's unit. You can use these on Land Raider Redeemers.
Yeah.
You can use these on anything with flamers.
Yep.
That's 2 CPs, max number of auto hits. Because don't forget, that's obviously it's a flame weapon as well, so it's already auto hitting. And if you're in tactical doctrine, your flame weapons are a +1 to wound.
Yes.
Because you've got your
their assault.
Promethean Cult, when tactical doctrine is active, flamers get +1 to wound.
Yep.
So in tactical doctrine, your flamers, although they might be strength 4, you're getting +1 to wound. You're auto hitting because they're flamers, and with Flamecraft, you're doing your max number of hits. Max number.
And that's so that Invicta tactical warsuit.
Yeah.
Has its flamer.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy 2d6.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's 12 shots, 12 hits,
12 inches.
12 auto hits.
12 auto hits at 12
and
inches.
It's a flame weapon, so it's
heavy, though.
So. It doesn't matter. It's a flame weapon.
Yeah.
Flamer or melter weapons get +1 to wound. It's flame weapons. So it's +1 to wound. So suddenly that Invicta tactical warsuit is then tearing aircraft out the sky. Absolutely tearing aircraft out the sky. That's a great strat straight away for 2 command points.
I'd pay it.
It's really good, isn't it? I was a massive fan of that one straight away. I read that first one, and I read the 2 supplements in the order that I'm doing the reviews in.
Yeah.
I read the Imperial Fist one first. I read the 2 command point Flamecraft one in the Salamanders book and basically chucked the Imperial Fist one out the window. Next is the Crucible of Battle for a single command point. Use this stratagem in the shooting or fight phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is choosing to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase and resolving an attack made by a model in the unit, add 1 to the wound roll. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about in the Imperial Fist book. That's Vets of the Long War.
Yeah.
Okay? Crucible Battle, 1 command point +1 to wound. Why the hell? Why on this earth does Salamanders have 1 command point +1 to wound for a Salamander's unit, and yet the Imperial Fists have to pay 2 command points to get +1 to wound for a unit when only targeting a specific vehicle?
So what we get from this is we like this book.
But can you see what I mean about the inconsistency? They're both Space Marine chapters. They're both first founding chapters. They both have a stratagem that gives them +1 to wound. Importantly, however, this one's 1 command point. That one's 2 command points. This one is no matter what you target, you can split 5 of all 10 models. You still get +1 to wound. That one forces you to target a single vehicle.
Yeah.
It does. That's not fair on Imperial. Yeah,
well.
exactly. It's not fair on Imperial Fist players. It also says shooting or fight phase. Yeah. This is something that stacks with their Flamecraft ability. So your flamers, I mean, you could drop 3 command points here with your flamers. So your aggressor flamers that are strength 4, max number of shots, which per aggressor is 12 shots. 3 aggressors, that's 36 auto-hitting shots at strength 4, with the Crucible Battle at +2 to wound, an AP -1. Wow. Wow. Then we go on to the next stratagem for 1 command point called the Strength of the Primark.
Yep.
Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select a Salamander's unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength characteristics of models in that unit, and when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit, an unmodified wound roll 6, double the damage characteristics of that weapon. Flamestorm aggressors that are strength 8 normal, this increases their base strength. They become strength 5 and therefore strength 10 power fists. 1 command point.
Yep.
God, this book is good. Fires of Battle. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase or in your opponent's charge phase. When a Salamander's model from your army shoots with a flame or melter weapon until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made with this weapon on an unmodified wound roll of a 4+, not a 6, like everybody else, the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage.
It's totally good, isn't it?
1 command point. 1 command point.
This is going to be devastating.
1 command point. Imagine that in Overwatch. I'm going to Overwatch your. It's bad enough. It's bad enough charging flamers in the first place, but then I can spend a single command point, and not only do my flamers auto hit in Overwatch, and they get +1 to wound because they're flamers, and I'm in tactical doctrine. And I could put another +1. I could spend another command point to make them +2 to wound. But what I could just do is spend 1 command point and 4 pluses for every wound roll I roll. You suffer a mortal wound. My Eternal Slaughter want to go nowhere near Salamanders ever.
This is so I've used Flamestorm aggressors in Overwatch, firing twice in Overwatch, and it's absolutely nuts when they survive the flame because it's only strength 4, and I'm firing normal Marines and they happen to make all the saves. And I was like, I'm wounding you. I'm wounding everything and suffer those mortal wounds.
Oh, mate, it's amazing.
I'd like it.
The thing is, it does say unmodified wound roll of a 4+. So you guys that are looking at this going, well, actually, flaming weapons get +1 to wound, and Crucible of Battle gives me additional +1 to wound. It's an unmodified 4+. So it's just 4+.
But you're still wounding on 2+. In some ways, and then the 4+ happen to be extras.
If you don't spend a command point on Crucible of Battle, your Flamestorm aggressors at strength 4 are wounding Marines in Overwatch on 3+, doing mortal wounds on 4+. Yeah. If you spend a command point on Crucible of Battle, you're winning on 2s and then mortal winning on 4s. You could decide to blow 4 command points if you really want that unit dead and do max. Oh no, actually, Flamecraft's only in the shooting phase, not in Overwatch. That's a shame. That'd been really cool. But I'm good. That's good. Rights of Vulcan.
It's the right balance, isn't it?
Yeah. Rights of Vulcan. 2 command points. Use the stratagem at the start of your movement phase if the tactical doctrine is active until the start of the next battle round when resolving an attack made with a rapid fire or assault weapon by a Salamander's model in your army, an unmodified rune of 6+. The armor penetration characteristic of the weapon is improved by additional 1 for that attack.
Yeah,
it's
the same as the Ultramarines.
So it's for rapid fire or assault. So I whinged at the Imperial Fist because it was for Devastated Doctrine, and I stick by that because most Devastated weapons have got decent AP already. But actually, for flame weapons and because most flame weapons are assault weapons anyway,
and bolt weapons,
it's not that bad.
No, rapid fire.
I still think for 2 CPs, looking at the rest of these stratagems, it's one you probably won't see, and I wouldn't use if it was me. Despite the odds as a single command point, use a stratagem at the end of your turn if a Salamander's wall from your army is on the battlefield and you did not achieve any tactical objectives this turn. Generate 1 new tactical objective. You can only use this stratagem if the mission you are playing uses tactical objectives. Not entirely sure.
So, if at the end of your turn you can randomly generate an extra one. To see if you achieve it?
I don't know.
So you could be
I will be honest, I don't know this one. So I wonder if you turn it, and if you did it, lucky you, well done.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do it, then can you then hold it as an extra card, taking you above the number you're allowed for the next turn? I don't know. That's going to be one that I think will probably need a bit of clarification as to how it's going to work.
Yeah.
This one's
silly. Is there a building reference?
This one is silly. Right, okay. Again, let's refer to Imperial Fists.
Yeah, and
remember Imperial Fists when I read this stratagem. Okay. Immolation protocols. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, change the type of all flame weapons models in that unit are equipped with to pistol. So you can stand in combat and flame your opponent if they've tied you up. 1 command point. For the Imperial Fist to do that with bolt weapons, it was 2. So they had to spend 2 command points to change bolt weapons to pistol weapons that they still had to roll to hit. Top of the page.
Was it that one? Close range bolter fire.
Yeah. So 2 command points to change bolt weapons to pistol weapons that they still have to roll to hit, whereas Salamanders, for 1 command point, can turn flame weapons for pistol weapons that auto hit.
So you have to find an auto-hitting weapon. That's how you know that it's a flame weapon, isn't it?
No, it's flame weapons are
defined
in the Space Marine Codex, yes.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, 1 command point instead of 2. And this is the thing that frustrates me the most over these supplements. And I'm now going to talk generically supplements, not just Imperial Fists or Salamanders. What annoys me is the lack of consistency.
Yeah,
there is no consistency between this book, these stratagems. I'm 7 stratagems through 16 and I'm already happy.
Oh, massive.
I would already be happy with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We kind of did this with the Raven Guard, though, with
I love the Raven Guard book as well.
It was. But then when we looked at the 2 characters and we went, oh, one's really highly priced and one's not, there was just a little bit inconsistency. I don't know whether that was just randomly because maybe they didn't think the Iron Father was going to be as good as he actually is currently being used as. But
self-sacrifice is 2 command points.
I kind of like this.
Use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select 1 Salamander's infantry unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, enemy units cannot target any other infantry units from your army that are within 6 inches of the selected unit, unless that unit is the closest enemy unit in the firing unit and visible. Basically, you put a unit at the front that you're happy to sacrifice. You put 2 command points on that unit. Anything else within 6 inches cannot be targeted until that unit's dead.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's cool.
That's
I like that.
Good.
Either put something really tough at the front.
Yeah.
That soaks up the.
You could stick 10 Terminators.
Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Terminators at the front. Soak up that fire.
Not only have they got 3+ invulnerable saves, because the Salamanders are also immune to AP-1.
Yep.
Wow.
Transhuman physiology can't be wounded on 1, 2, or 3.
Rise from the ashes for 2 command points. Use the stratagem in any phase when a Salamander's character model from your army is destroyed. At the end of the phase, roll a d6 on a 4+ that model, return that model to play with 1 wound remaining, and place it as close as possible to its previous position and more than 1 inch away from enemy models. The stratagem cannot be used on the same model more than once. 2 command points.
You've got
for a Gulliman get back up, but you only have 1 wound.
Yeah, but still.
Imagine that's your Warlord. Because it happens at the end of the phase, you can save Kingslayer. You can go, nope, you've not got to say the Warlord.
Or any unit that you need to hold on to that objective.
Yeah.
To hold
the character, but yeah.
Yeah, but so your character's the last one to die on that objective. Get back up.
Yeah, and I defend it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But yeah, imagine someone's got Kingslayer for D3 victory points and they kill your Warlord.
That's the big one.
2 command points, get back up, stop your D3 victory points, stop your additional secondary
Run
victory
away.
point. Yeah, run away. Vengeance for Istvan 5 for 1 command point. Fluffy, use a stratagem in the fight phase where a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to fight with until the end of the phase when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon against a model from Word Bearers, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, Alpha Legion. You can reroll hit rolls. Yeah. Cool.
Love that.
Stand your ground, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in any phase when a Salamander's infantry from your army that is not a servitor and did not advance in this phase, or your previous movement phase is chosen as a target of an attack until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made with a weapon has a damage characteristic of 1 against a model in that unit, add 1 to the saving throw. This does not affect invulnerable saving throws. 1 command point. Yep. So the Imperial Fist, to get 1 to saving throws, had to spend 2 command points. Yep. They're doing it for 1 command point. The only stipulation is it cannot have advanced this or previous turns.
So,
which is cool. But 1 command point plus 1 to saving throws against 1 damage weapons. Now, although it doesn't affect invulnerable saves, we know how strong that can be for Thousand Suns Rubric Marines, giving them 2+ saves against bolt guns and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah.
And not only will they have a 2+ save against bolt weapons like bolt guns, they also ignore the AP -1. So bolt rifles, they've got a 2 up armor save and they ignore that -1, so it stays 2 up.
Yeah.
That's really good for 1 command point.
Yeah.
2 command points, Born Protectors. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a charge is declared against a Salamander's unit from your army. Select 1 friendly Salamander's unit that is more than 1 inch away from any enemy units, but is within 12 inches of the unit that is the target of that charge. The selected unit can fire Overwatch at the charging unit as if it was the target of the charge itself. If the selected unit is a target of the charge, it instead fires Overwatch as normal. In addition, if that charge is successful, the selected unit can perform a heroic intervention as if it were a character, and if it does, it can move up to 2d6 inches, but must end that move closer to the unit that charged and cannot move within 1 inch of any other enemy units.
How many CP? 2. Yeah,
it needs to be 2.
Yeah, it needs
That's
to be 2.
really good.
That's a really good spin onto it. I like the idea of the Ultramarines defensive focus one, which is very similar, but is pick 3 within 6.
So you have a unit here of, I don't know, intercessors, 10 intercessors, right? And you have a unit here of 3 Flamestorm aggressors,
Yep.
and I'm here as a World Eaters player with my Berserkers.
Yeah.
I want to charge them, but I don't want to charge them.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat Flame Overwatch, especially when we've seen some of the other stratagems. I want to charge your intercessors. You can spend 2 command points. You can then flame me if I'm in range.
And then charge.
And then you can heroically intervene and fight me with your power fists.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. And that's one where I wouldn't mind. If the situation is right, I would more than happily spend those 2 CPs.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, because it's a heroic intervention, I can't fight you before you fight me because it's a heroic intervention. I have to charge you instead.
Yeah.
And then I'm eating Flame Overwatch anyway. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Relentless determination for a single command point. End of your movement phase. Select 1 Salamanders unit from your army that did not advance that phase. Until the start of your next movement phase, that unit is treated as having remained stationary during its movement phase for all rules purposes. It's a Salamanders unit. You can use this on tanks. In addition, if that unit has a damage table, then until the start of your next movement phase, double the number of wounds it has remaining for the purposes of determining what row to use on that damage table. 1 command point. 1 command point.
And it acts as if it ignores all movement.
It ignores, so as long as you haven't advanced, it ignores the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons.
That's
as long as it hasn't advanced.
Yeah.
And it doubles its remaining wounds, determining what level the table it's on. So you've got a Predator on 4 wounds, 5 wounds remaining, single CP. Not only can you move it still, but you count as your top bracket and you fire as though it's your top bracket.
Yeah. Very cool.
1 command point. Really good. Yep. Really good. Then you've got a command point for Exemplar of the Promethean Creed. Basically, Salamander's model that is not a named character to be a warlord. You can generate 1 additional warlord trait.
Standard.
Master Artisan. Sergeant gains digital weapons, Draken Blade, all that kind of mastercrafted nonsense.
Special issue.
And Trust of Prometheus. You pick a character who, from a successor chapter, etc., you can take a Salamander's relic.
Cool.
But, so take those 3 away, because that's standard from every supplement.
Yep.
The rest of them. Is there a bad one? I mean, Vengeance for Istvan 5 is very fluffy, but that's situational. Take Vengeance for Istvan 5 out of it because it's specifically against Wordbearer's Iron, whereas Night Lord's Alpha Legion. Every other stratagem in this book, I can see you using.
Mine, apart from the 2 command point tactical expertise version of your one.
Okay.
That's the only one that I would.
I mean, it's still not.
It's not terrible.
It's not horrendous because you're talking about stuff that's AP nothing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not horrendous.
No.
But that means we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 decent stratagems out of 16.
Although in Tactical Doctrine, it's all most of that would be -1 anyway.
We were talking about the Imperial Fist book where we suggested that there was maybe 3 or 4 good stratagems out of the whole 16. This time we're talking 11 or 12 out of 16 that are good. Yeah. Some of the combinations. Some of the combinations are CP heavy as well. Because Born Protectors, when that unit can then fire Overwatch, you can then use Fires of Battle to do mortal wounds on 4+, whilst you're overwatching for a unit that isn't you because you didn't get charged, and then you can heroically. It's 3 command points to do that. But again, if you're looking at a charging unit coming rushing towards you, and you say I've got to stop that, you've got some tools that could allow you to stop that.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, and if there's multiple charges going across the battlefield, you could then do 2 CP to interrupt and smash them with your fists before they take out. You
wouldn't need. Well, that's interesting because if you heroically intervene, if they don't pick that unit first, you could. You could fight them anyway for free, right? Because they can't fight you. But if you wanted to protect those intercessors or whatever it was that warlord that maybe they've charged, absolutely.
Yeah. They're probably not going to let you do that, but
this is a quicker review than the Imperial Fist one because I'm not whinging anywhere near as much. It's just this is where I think a supplement should be for me because if you read them as well in terms of flame weapons and stuff, they're all very narrative for Salamanders. I like it. And the thing is with flame weapons and making flame weapons and melter weapons good is you have to be within a certain range to do that as well.
That's where I was going next. They're not long range, 72-inch, sit on the back line and just blast your opponent off. This is you need to get in their face. You need to punch them. There's assault tactics that you can use here, and there's flame weapons. So
very aggressive marine.
You've got to be super aggressive.
Really, really cool. Okay, the final thing we tend to touch when we do supplements is the psychic discipline, and we've got the Promethean discipline. This is the Salamander's specific psychic powers. Don't forget we've got that relic that you can give to a Salamander's librarian to give him an additional power as well. So 6 of them as usual. Flaming Blast is the first one. Flaming Blast has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 point on the battlefield within 24 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Roll 1d6 for every enemy unit within 3 inches of the point on a 4+ to suffer 1 mortal wound. It's better because it's a fixed distance. You know it's within 3 inches and you roll a d6, so it's a little bit better. It's still a form of
orbital bombardment
that we don't like.
No, it's just a bit too inconsistent.
When you read some of the other ones, Fire Shield has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 friendly Salamanders unit within 18 inches of this Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. In addition, when a charge roll is made for a charge that unit is a target of, subtract 1 from the result. So you pick a unit within 18 inches, -1 to hit them, and -1 to charge them.
So you've just made your sacrifice Hammonators insane.
Yep.
So you can walk forward, protecting your whole army behind a Hammonator wall, and then be in their faces.
Yep. Good, innit?
Love it.
Burning Hand is a warp charge value of 6. What you'll notice with the Salamanders discipline is every single warp charge value of 6. Burning Hand's warp charge value of 6. Well, it's lower than the average needed on 2d6. And like we said, if you take that relic, you'll be rerolling 1s as well.
Yeah.
If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a close combat weapon, by this Psyker, if a hit is scored, the target suffers 1 mortal wound and the attack sequence ends.
Ooh.
Doesn't matter if you've got a Kipper as your close combat weapon, mortal wound. Every time you hit, mortal wound. Mortal wound.
Kipper. Freaking Kipper.
It just says, when an attack made with a close combat weapon, whatever your close combat weapon is, by the Psyker, if a hit roll is scored, target suffers 1 mortal wound.
And then it ends. So you don't have to do any...
There's no roll to wound.
There's no roll.
Roll to hit, wound. Mortal wound. Done.
Okay. So what you're hoping is that your Psyker doesn't then need any super powerful weapons.
No. I mean, of course, it's not great when you're taking on big vehicles and stuff.
Actually, no, that's not terrible. If you've got something that's a single wound weapon anyway.
But I still think, at the moment, we still think that Fire Shield's a bit better. Now, imagine your 10 Hammonators with your 2 command points for whatever is it called?
Self-sacrifice.
With Fire Shield on.
Yeah.
And then we give them this one.
Okay, what's this one?
Drake Skin.
Okay, what's
Drake
that?
Skin has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 friendly Salamanders unit within 12 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, add 1 to the toughness characteristic of all models in the unit.
So
toughness 5 Hammonators as a walking shield.
You're not going to need 10 of them.
That's
a point stink.
That's a good. Again, if you take Drake Skin and Fire Shield with a Salamander's Librarian, are a good pair of powers for buffing Flamestorm Aggressors, Centurions, Terminators. They're a good pair of powers to help you keep things alive.
Yeah,
they are good, and their warp charge value is 6 as well.
It makes your so you can make your aggressors toughness 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just push them up a little bit. Everyone knows how good an additional toughness actually is. It's game changing.
I mean, to be
fair,
fair,
thinks about it.
+1 toughness is more important on things like toughness 4 because you get strength 4 weapons and you get sort of strength 6, 7 weapons. Yeah. Strength 5 and 6 is limited difference because there's not a lot of strength 6 weaponry out there. There is some strength 6 weaponry out there, but it's not loads of it.
Did that say that it has to be an infantry?
Just Salamander's unit within 12 inches of Psyker. So it can be a tank.
Dread, your tank. Just get rid of those strength 8 weapons.
It could be. You could make
heroes.
You can make a Land Raider at this point. You can make a Land Raider toughness 9.
Yeah.
You can make a Redeemer, Land Raider Redeemer with your flame weapons, toughness 9.
Yeah.
-1 to hit against the unit for Fire Shield is a Salamander's unit. You can make your Land Raider -1 to hit, toughness 9. It's cool.
Yeah. So there's
some good powers.
They're good to go together.
Fury of Nocturne, warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit within 8 inches of visible to the Psyker. Roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the highest toughness characteristic of models in that unit, the target unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. This is kind of like the Imperial Fists one with the highest movement characteristic, but it's not quite as good because it's just d3 mortal wounds. It's 18 inches, roll 2d6. I mean, at the moment, looking at Drake Skin and Fire Shield, if you're going to use another power for mortal wounds, you're probably going to use Smite because it's better. It's a warp charge value of 5 instead of a warp charge value of 6. You do D3 mortal wounds with the potential to do D6. This one doesn't have a potential to do D6. You've got to beat a toughness characteristic after you successfully manifested the power, and it's a warp charge value of 6 instead of a warp charge value of 5. It's not horrendous. If you're taking Smite, you could take this one as well, and you get the chance to do 2 lots of D3 mortal wounds with 2 different psychic powers.
It's nice that you do 2D3 mortal wounds. That's what you said, wasn't
it? Only if you do Smite and this one.
Okay, so D3 mortal wounds, and you're doing it against a toughness value. The telepathic assault from the Ultramarines is you have to beat their leadership, which is often higher.
Of course, yeah.
And you only do 1 mortal wound.
It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
For each point, okay. So potentially you could do a bit more, but leadership's quite high.
So. Yeah, but I mean, this isn't a bad one. I'm not saying it's bad. No.
It's just I'd pick 2 of the others.
But it's D3 mortal wounds if you beat the toughness on 2D6 after you've successfully manifested on warp charge value of 6. Smite's just better in every way.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I will say with Fury of Nocturne compared to Smite is Smite must target the nearest, and Fury just selects an enemy unit within 18 inches. So although the range is the same, Smite you must pick the nearest, and Fury of Nocturne you can pick whichever one you want. That's the minor bonus to it.
Yeah, so you're not limited by the...
Then we've got the Draconic Aspect. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested until the start of your next psychic phase, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristic models and enemy units whilst they're within 12 inches of the Psyker. Drake Skin and Fire Shield. In it, really, to be honest with you. I would be looking at Drake Skin and Fire Shield and maybe adding Burning Hands in there if you're going to take the Relic as my librarian's in combat, every time he hits I want to do a mortal wounds type job.
Yeah. And if you want to take some from the Space Marines book and then take one of the others, Drake Skin.
Yeah, well, there's that option as well, of course.
The Fire Shield. Then actually that's quite a good set of combos as well.
Yeah, there's a couple in the Marine book that you could tag into a couple of those, and because you could take 2 from the Space Marine Codex, and if you've got the Relic, take one of the ones from the Salamanders book. So there's not massive issues there.
Nope.
You know, there's
you might heroes, your Null Zone, your
absolutely.
Psychic Fortress.
There's some decent stuff in the Isn't Veil of Time a move again one? Veil of Time move again? I don't remember which Veil of Time set. Brom's get his book out.
I'm getting my book out. I'm not gonna
get your book out.
Until this, so select one friendly chapter unit within 18 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. When an advance roll or charge roll is made for that unit, you can re-roll the dice. In addition, that unit always fights first in the fight phase, even if it did not charge. If the enemy has a similar ability, then you alternate.
Yeah, it's okay.
Which is...
I'm just thinking about your little wall of Terminators that you want and being able to make them move quicker.
No, you could, but you can't make them move quicker. You could guarantee a little bit more.
Well, you can make them move a little bit quicker with the advance roll, but then your librarian can only cast 2 anyway. Okay. So you're better off taking 2 that you think you're going to use regularly, and then taking another one that like. So that what I like about that.
if you did take I suppose you want to go that way, not the other way.
What I do like about it is you could take Drake Skin and the other one, so the -1 to hit one and the +1 toughness one, for example, and then you could have in your back pocket if you need to Null Zone, for example, which is really quite nice. So I'm going to take this power because a lot of people will take a librarian with Null Zone and they might not get to use it for a whole game. They might even face an opponent at a tournament that doesn't have invulnerable saves, and Null Zone's pointless. Yeah. What I like the fact is you can pocket Null Zone, take the Relic to take an additional psychic power from the Salamanders discipline, use the 2 Salamanders one you're going to use all the time if you're going to use them, and then I need Null Zone. I've got it in my pocket.
You can only take one Salamanders one with
that
Relic.
Take one additional one.
Yeah, and you have to pick from one tree. Can't you? You can't pick between 2 disciplines.
No, I'm pretty sure you can take from both disciplines.
When you're a Psycho, you can only pick from one discipline, can't you?
No, I don't think so.
You align yourself with a discipline, don't you?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
I like completely off topic because
I like how you're waving your hands underneath the.
I'm there going. You have to align yourself with the discipline. I thought that was a thing. No, because your psychers normally say you can only take it from here or here.
No, it doesn't. I don't think.
No.
I think you're lying to me.
I'm checking now.
Yeah, I'm also reading. We're reading, people. Oh, I think actually you might be right.
So
Salamanders librarian models and Salamanders attachments can know all of their psychic powers from the Promethean discipline instead of the Librarius or Obscuration disciplines. Before the battle, generate psychic powers, psychic ones. Okay, it says all. That quantifying word there, where it says know all of their powers, I assume means they can't mix and match. That's a shame. Okay, yeah. I stand corrected. In which case, in all seriousness, I look at the additional powers they've got, and now I think that Librarian Relic is worth it for the rerolls of ones, not so much the extra power.
The what's not bad is that you could take it from the other way around. Tomb of Malkador is a strat, isn't it?
Yeah,
no, it's a relic. Tomb of Malkador is a generic Space Marines one that allows your model to know one additional psychic power from any discipline they have access to. So you can then take your null zone.
Yeah,
but you don't get plus
you
one.
can do it, but then the Salamanders relic gives you the reroll ones as well. So we're spitballing over a relic that's average to good, to be fair. Overall, the book, when you consider it, when you compare it, to other supplements, stands up against Ultramarine, stands up against Raven Guard. I think it's much better than White Scars. I think it's a lot better than Imperial Fists. And I don't actually think it's all that far off of Iron Hands. Iron Hands has those extra little tricks, those extra few things that are making them game-changingly good at the moment. Salamanders isn't that far off. Importantly, the stratagems are good. So we're in that position, when we talked about at the end of the Imperial Fists review, we're in a position with Salamanders where you've got a bunch of good stratagems in this book to match with your bunch of good stratagems in the Space Marine book. And you now have 6 pages of good stratagems and going, I've only got 10 command points. What am I supposed to do?
Us moaning about that relic is us arguing about how we get more of that book into our army.
Yeah,
it's
not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So they've got a whole bunch of tools. I like the way it encourages you to play, because I think it encourages you to play quite aggressively Marines. It doesn't encourage you to sit there in gun lines.
No, I like it.
It encourages you to push forward and play aggressively. I love it. I really love this book. I think Salamanders players will be very, very happy.
I think they can be clever with it.
And if you've watched the Imperial Fists review, you will know that we do give honest opinions.
Yeah.
Like I say, don't forget, this is in combination with the Space Marine Codex, which is already good. It's already full of good stratagems and good rules, and you get even more for this. And it's very Salamanders fluffy. That's what I love about it. All the flamecraft stuff and all the additional toughness, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm a big fan.
Would you we've now done all 6 of the main first founding chapter codexes.
Yeah. I'm
going to take Iron Hands out of the equation.
I wouldn't pick them anyway.
If you were to pick one now without picking Ultramarines, what would you go for?
So if Ultramarines is off the table as well.
And I'm asking you during this review because I think I know the answer.
I'd be very tempted with this one.
Would you?
Yeah, it's this one. I'd be very, very tempted to look at the Raven Guard one.
I like the Raven Guard one a lot.
I think I'd get annoyed at how good you have to be to play with it properly.
Yes.
And I think I'd get unstuck too often, and it would irritate me that I've made a simple tactical error and I've instantly been punished for it. Which is fine, it's a game, but but you always feel like, oh geez, I should have moved that unit back another 6 inches, and now they're deleted. Whereas this, I think there's a few more safety nets, and you're not going to trip yourself up.
A little bit more forgiving,
A little bit more forgiving, which does mean that you can be a little bit more narrative and aggressive and play. And I think you have more fun when you're playing aggressively.
One thing I will say actually about both the Raven Guard books and the Salamanders books is they're both insanely narrative supplements, in my opinion. The way that they encourage you to play with both the armies is very narrative, and I love that.
Yep. I'd say the same about the Ultramarines book.
And I think the White Scars I think doesn't do that, because White Scars, you want to see them born in the saddle full of bikes, all that kind of stuff, and it just doesn't push you that way. Yeah.
Push on.
The Ultramarines book's quite good in terms of it being quite narrative as well. I like that one. I think the Imperial Fists is maybe a little bit better than White Scars for me personally, but I'm not blown away by either of those books, I'm afraid. This one, however, like I said to you at the start, this is available at the point this video goes live. This is available for pre-order from Games Workshop, also from your local gaming stores and from online retailers such as Element Games. Link in the description below if you want to go through Element and find yourself the Salamanders supplement. It's a good supplement. It's worth the extra few quid. Yet again, we talked about 8 pages of rules. Look how thick that book is. The rest of that is all narrative about Salamanders. And I like these supplements for the narrative alone, like we said in the Imperial Fist book. So the rules start here, and that's all narrative stuff. Loads of narrative stuff, which we are all about. So I'm also donating this book to Warsmith Chris, who has said he thinks he wants to do a Salamanders army.
I'm just glad he's coming to the right side of the table now.
So Chris is taking on the challenge of Salamanders. We think he's undecided yet, but I'm going to let him read this before he decides fully. Alex is looking at taking on Imperial Fists. Brom's already got Ultramarine, so surely that leaves me with Iron Hand. No, I'm joking. I can't do it and still look at my wife in the eye. If you enjoy what we do here, we also have a website. It's www.deploymentzone.tv. You can head on over there. We put battle reports on deploymentzone.tv every single Tuesday. It's a website owned by myself and Winters, and me and the team, people like Brom, Alex, Chris, Mikey P, put battle reports on there. Winters does the same. We take it in turns. There's also campaigns that are going on all the time. There's loads of really, really popular, successful ones like the Death of Hope, Galmec Incident, Pride Before Dawn. We're currently running through the Champion of Chaos campaign.
Heroes are being made.
You know they are. At the point this video goes live, the last one went up yesterday, and that's running every single week at the moment, where Winters brings the Death Guard, I bring the Eternal Slaughter, the World Eaters, and we try and find out who is going to be the Champion of Chaos, and it's so much fun.
Yeah. We don't know who's won, but we really hope Winters wins.
You don't know who's won. I know who's won.
Right, you know who's won.
We don't hope Winters wins.
We hope Winters wins. It will just set a tone for forever.
Anyway, yeah, check out deploymentzone.tv. It's a paid for website. $4.99 gets you a monthly subscription. There's loads and loads and loads and loads of extra content on there. We'd love for you to come and join us, and that will get us out the factory that we talk about at the start, and we can do go back to live streams and do more reviews and more videos and more tutorials and all kinds of stuff like that.
More everything.
We also have a Patreon page. Both of these are linked in the video description below. You can head on over to Patreon, pledge to us there, and you will be able to join us in our hobby Discord community, which is insanely busy. We only launched it a few weeks ago, and it's already chaos. It's a separate subscription service from deploymentzone.tv, so you can choose to pledge to one, the other, or both. It's up to you. And if you can't watch any more content, or you don't want to watch any more content but want to be involved in a hobby community, that's there for you as well, and it's amazing. Finally, a big shout out goes to our sponsors, Element Games, who are heroes. Like I said, there's links in the video description below. They're our sponsors. If you use that link, they know you came from us, and you can buy your brand new Salamanders Supplement and your Space Marine Codex and all your army stuff and what have you. And those guys are legends, so go and support them as well. That's about everything. A big thank you to Brom.
That's all right.
For coming and sit and listen to me talk about supplements for 2 books worth.
That's all right. I've done it before.
Yeah.
I like it.
We've done all 6 supplements now.
So far.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you haven't already watched the Imperial Fist ones, go and check that one out. If you have watched this one actually to completion, I probably wouldn't watch that other one because it's a come down. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.